Hello friends, let's start with business and financial market update. Reliance Group firms Reliance Consumer Product Limited (RCPL) and Reliance Retail Ventures Limited (RRVL) have announced an open offer to acquire an additional 26% stake in Lotus Chocolate. The open offer follows RCPL's earlier announcement for the acquisition of a 51% stake in Lotus. RCPL and RRVL will together acquire 33.38 lakh shares for a total consideration of 38.56 crore rupees. The open offer starts on Feb 21 and closes on March 6, said the public notice. Shares of Lotus Chocolate, which manufacture chocolates, cocoa products and cocoa derivatives, had on Thursday closed at 149.35 rupees a piece, which was the highest price in the last 3 months. Moving on, around 20,000 people lost their jobs in Surat in the past 1 month amid a slump in demand for cut and polished diamonds, the Economic Times reported. India's diamond exports decreased by 5.43% between April and November 2022 over the previous year, report added. The industry in Surat employs about 8 lakh workers in 4,000 odd cutting and polishing units. Moving on, India surpassed Japan to become the third largest automaker globally in 2022, Nikkei Asia reported. India's new vehicle sales were at 42.5 lakh units, topping the 42 lakh sold in Japan. The figure is expected to rise further with the inclusion of pending 4-quarter sales figure for commercial vehicle and along with year-end results yet to be released by some automaker. Moving on, Samsung Electronics said that its quarterly profit fell to an 8-year low amid slow demand for electronic devices. Samsung announced its October to December operating profit likely fell by 69% to 4.3 trillion won from 30.87 trillion won a year ago. Quarterly revenue likely declined by 9% for the same period a year earlier to 70 trillion won, Samsung added. Moving on, the government is working on an incentive scheme worth around 10,000 crore rupees to 12,000 crore rupees to promote domestic manufacturing of high-end electronic components, the Economic Times reported. The move may attract global firms like Apple to deepen local production, the report added. The government aims to launch a scheme by the financial year 2023-24, the report said, citing an official. Moving on, the government and the RBI are in discussion with the South Asian countries to have cross-border trade in rupee, RBI Governor Shaktikant Das said on Friday. He added that rupee trade and central bank digital currency (CBDC) can be areas of greater cooperation in future. Das was speaking at the launch of IMF's new book South Asia's Path to Resilient Growth. Moving on, oil companies are selling petrol at a profit of rupees 10 per litre, but retail prices have not been reduced as they recoup past losses and make up for a 6.5 rupees a litre loss on diesel, a report said. State-owned Indian Oil Corporation, Bharat Petroleum Corporation and Hindustan Petroleum Corporation have for the past 15 months not revised petrol and diesel prices in line with the cost. They have times of low oil prices to recoup losses incurred when rates were high. Moving on, Dabur India Limited operating margins for the third quarter could shrink due to currency fluctuations and inflation in its international business, the consumer goods market said on Friday, even as it forecast an overall improvement in revenue. The company, which earns a quarter of its revenue from overseas market, said declines in Turkish and Egyptian currencies and high cost of sales have put a damper on its international business in recent times. Dabur shares, which fell by 3% last year, declined as much as 3.6% on Friday. Moving on, the SEBI has allowed the center to reclassify its holding in IDBI Bank as public, following disinvestment of its stake on the condition that its voting rights do not exceed 15%, the bank said in a regulatory filing on Thursday. In a letter to Department of Investment and Public Asset Management, the regulator said it allowed relaxation under SEBI listing obligations and disclosure requirements, regulations for reclassification. In addition, the buyer will have to adhere to the minimum public shareholdings norms with a year of acquisition. The government is also required to specify its intentions to reclassify its holding as public in the offer letter to the IDBI bank shareholders. Moving on, the elderly woman who was urinated on by Mumbai-based businessman Shankar Mishra on an Air India flight from New York to Delhi has written in complaint that she was asked to return to the soiled seat and the pilot without giving her a seat in the first class. She added that she completed the journey sitting on a steward seat. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned with Financial Pulse for business and financial market updates.